This is Mr. Westbrooks, educator, astronumerologist, and co-host of Unread Book Review with Nick and Rue. Let me put y'all up on this new ebook series that's here to educate our people of all ages, especially the youth, about our collective power, both historically, presently, and beyond. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, is unique in that it takes the traditional e-reading experience and infuses it with audio recordings, revolutionary songs, and revolutionary music videos. Some of the topics include stories about Black entrepreneurs, stories about Black women who have shaped our world, and stories of Black innovators who've impacted the field of STEAM, plus much more. If you want to know more about this series and what it has to offer, check out our Unread episode featuring Knowledge Born Allah, who was also the founder and host of Do the Knowledge Radio. After the interview, go log on to dotheknowledgeradio.com so you can get your copy of Voices of the Diaspora so that you, your family, your community, and your world can be inspired by the stories of visionaries shaping our future and honoring our past. Thank you in advance for your support and continue striving to be the best version of yourself. Peace.
One time it was just the science of living and surviving here on this planet. Science of life.
You think cause you a star that you read it in my creation. I'm God Zodiac, I'm made from constellations. My brain is a bomb waiting to flame an abomination. No change in the bomber's nation, just some more dollars placed in the pockets of Satan. While I walk amongst the blind, explaining chakras to the cavemen. I'm locking from the grave, sending doctors to the shamans. Scientists ashamed of getting knowledge from the pagans. I'm in Nirvana with militant, philosophical, diligent builders aiming for spots in a large nation. I mean the all in all, the cream of God hopped and rise to the occasion. Surprised that we invading your time's finished, diminished. I'm live from the awakening. Cameras on tilt as I flex my success. I'm fly, look what I built. Smooth just like silk in the groove. You might wilt if your lotus ain't focused and sewn just like a quilt from the needle to the record to the lace. And my behavior resembles the high sev. You see my 2 fingers up, yelling peace to the gods. Waving by to the haters, standing on the black dot in the center of my square. In the middle of the circle, I designed the creator. Khalifa the Khalifa when I speak through the speaker. Thoughts of a magician is lost in mysticism that reached the non-believer. I shine in your theater.
The clock was already moving before you saw the wheels turn.
I-A-K, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Signs of the time, the future I foresee. K-A-Z-O-D. I-A-K, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Wheel of the spirit, the stars indeed. Who's better than this? Intelligentness. Clouds like I pass heaven and split. Killing cops, shaming treacherousness. You serve the devil, you're protecting the myth. Professional hitman, I spit excellence. I connect you to bliss. Grab this pebble from my hand and I let you exist. But if you don't, well, I spit a ghost spell. Get off my coattails. My coach is our God. I live it so well. The life of a G as high as can be. A soul model, what your role model aspires to be. True boss life. In order to lead, you need foresight. We can't rich with PRT. We ain't poor, right? Error of the rich righteous. That fix the crisis of the terror of the mid-lifeless. The myth virus infecting the whole planet. Infected the globe is medic, depressing my soul. Answers the questions. I'm like Osiris flying in the gold-plated sky disc with no pilot. Kingdom of heaven, you can walk through my gate, but speak certainty. Silence is a virtuous trait. I was more amazing, I ain't have to learn to be great. When every child is born, they ain't have to learn to create. It's when it feels rejected, that's when love turns into hate. God leap through a hole within space. Welcome to my dimension. When you think of the God, well, I'm the guy you mentioned. Z-O-D, I-A-K, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Signs of the time, future I foresee. K-A-Z-O-D, I-A-K, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Wheel of the spirit, the star, the spirit, the star, the
You're not ready for that.
Wheel of the spirit, the star, the spirit, the star,
The dynamic of all is in that wheel. had discovered that shit. You just ain't ready to take on that dimension.
We just really regurgitate
What the creators already know. You probably still think we in the age of Pisces.
But no matter how we try to spin it, it's the same wheel.
J Black, straight like that.
Peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Placement Knowledge is born. It's your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We are here on Wednesday. I don't know if we've been here on a Wednesday together in a long time, but hey, we here on Wednesday. We on Woo Wednesday, as a matter of fact, in more ways than one. So, well, we here for a special occasion because our Reverend Doctor is here in the building. All right. Took a little doing, took a little sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? To make it happen. But we got it. We got it here in the making. We're glad that we have Mother God here with us in the building to teach us the truth, whether we like it or not, whether it's comfortable or not, whether it fits our schema or not. Okay? So we're going to delve into some aspects and some topics. So again, it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, one of our divine matriarchs, one of our teachers, one of our inspirers, one of our motivators, and one who keeps us in line with our purpose, with her divine purpose of building a new heaven and new earth right here in our reality, real time. Founder of New Eden and House of Blanco, Reverend Dr. J. N. Huskey.
The intros kill me every time.
Oh man, how you feeling, Doc?
Amazing. Glad to be seen.
That's what I'm talking about. My elders told me, and I borrowed it from them. They said I'd rather be seen than viewed. Once I heard that, I said, "Whew."
Absolutely. Any
Be
day.
seen than viewed. And I was like, man, can I borrow that? Yeah. So, I begged you here today to get your thoughts on a myriad of topics, but they kind of stem from the same foundation. Digital degeneracy. I know we kind of talked about it as an undercurrent this entire time, but I wanted to bring some awareness or seek to have some understanding in regards to the mentality of degeneracy from the physical to the virtual space, but particularly the virtual space because it has a very influential stronghold on how people are operating in their physical space. So it's similar to like this is reality is fake and virtual reality is real. So yeah, I definitely wanted to, kind of get your thoughts on this mentality that's associated with it, digital degeneracy and the decline of values, unless I'm tripping completely in regards to my assessment. So, yes, it's a place. You understand what I'm saying? We in Dreamville, and we not in North Carolina. You understand what I'm saying? We in Dreamville, but we ain't in North Carolina. I don't think we in Kansas anymore, like Dorothy said on the Wizard of Oz.
Definitely not in Kansas anymore.
So just initial thoughts, on the topic before I start bothering you with questions.
I think that when you get a society so used to fabricated things that they become less aware of what's real. I think if you surround a group of people with things that are man-made, that are fake, that are put together, that are scripted, and then you put them in a real life situation, they don't have real life skills to adapt to that situation because they're so used to a simulation and not reality. And so we now have a group of people, a whole society walking around reacting to a simulation and not reacting to what's real. And if you don't react or acknowledge what's real around you, you're not prepared to defend yourself from real threats. And we end up in states like where our country is in right now. So I think it was very purposely done. I think that it was very intricately designed. It was done on purpose, and they did a hell of a job. And there's those of us that recognize it and want to work to shift it and correct it, and there's others that are complacent and are cool with it. So we in a pickle right now. We are definitely in a pickle.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Um, the conspiracy theorist was a thing, if you remember, for a while, right? Conspiracy theorists, every so often, every couple decades or something, it's like, oh, y'all bugging, y'all tripping, and what's going on with this? Um, so the mentality that the one who's operating outside of the crowd is the black sheep or the outcast, quote unquote, in one regard, and then uh, they become like the ant and the grasshopper type of situation. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at that, like, oh, you tripping? They would never. I could never. I don't understand. You bugged out. You reading to me those books, whatever the case may be. And then there's a shift of thought in regards to desperation. Like, so the two polarities that go kind of present very extreme. The extreme preparer versus the extreme not prepared, and then how the worlds begin to meet. Um,
Mhm.
your thoughts in regards to those two polarities from a mental, emotional kind of space.
I think that, you know, when the old folks in the scriptures say weaker but wiser, when they refer to future generations, I think that's very much true. I think that we are in a space where mentally we've been conditioned to things that we weren't before. And when you condition a group of people mentally, you control the outcome, you control their responses, so to speak. And so, because we have been conditioned to believe certain things or conditioned to react in certain ways, or that certain ways of reaction are acceptable, that's what we go with. And so, for example, if I lead you to believe that something like reality TV, if somebody makes you angry, throwing a drink in their face or swinging at them is the appropriate way to handle things, then when you approach things and you respond to things, you're going to do it wholeheartedly because you think you're operating in what's right. You think you're doing what you're supposed to do and reacting and responding the way that you're supposed to. So you do it with a different fervor, you do it with a different energy because you think you're right. People always come with something harder when they think they're on the right side of things. And we've convinced and flip flopped what the right side of things is, especially for these younger generations. And so they are crashing out and wilding out, but from a space of I'm correct and this is what's right and true and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that's the thing that we're having to deal with now. You have a bunch of crash outs that think they're on the right side of things. So I think the polarity is it used to be a us and a them thing. It used to be this is right and this is wrong, and it got so blurred in between there right now that people really don't know how to respond to things. So we're just making it the best way we can at this point.
So the variance in degree of crash out. I'm not gonna ask you to explain what a crash out is, any of that. Tell them the other folk that'll be listening, mind their business. Okay, you ain't about to get no prompting over
We
here.
know. We know it.
So zealot, right? One who becomes fixated, obsessive, compulsive, and these are all words, right? Then I ain't diagnosing nobody with nothing.
Mhm.
But that space of zealotry and mob mentality, groupthink sort of thing. I want to ask in regards to one aspect of that is dissatisfaction, right? So there's a space in there with vindication, but then there's the other aspect of modeling behavior, right? That you spoke of. So the
Mhm.
modeling behavior, I'm doing it because other people are doing it,
Mhm.
not because I was wronged or anything like that. This has become socially acceptable behavior. So I'm doing that. I'm being performative in that regard. So what about that other aspect of not wronged? I just what they used to say, monkey see, monkey do type of situation. You understand what I'm saying? It's like it's all right when they do it. That kind of thing. Like if this person was such and such, they start doing all that. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely want to hear your thoughts.
I think one of the main things that contributed to that monkey see, monkey do mentality is that we stopped seeing differences in ourselves. We started viewing ourselves as being the same, being part of the same crowd. It used to be enforced, especially in African traditions and African cultures, it used to be enforced that you have a purpose and that your purpose is your own and you need to focus on your purpose because you were given that purpose for a reason. And we were taught to operate in those purposes. If you saw a kid who had an affinity for working with his hands, you encourage that. You encourage him to get into things working with his hands because you identify that as being a great skill set. You identify that as something he can be successful with. Now, you may have a child that's good with working with their hands, but we've been conditioned to, oh no, I need to get my baby on TV because that's where the money is. So forget that he's good at building things. Let me put this ball in his hand because he can make more money on a football field than he can as an engineer. That's what we've been conditioned to think. And so we have this situation now where we lack purpose or we lack the recognition of purpose. And if you lack the recognition of a purpose for yourself, it's easy for you to fall into the crowd and do what everybody else is doing around you. Once you identify that purpose in yourself, you realize you have to be set apart from the nonsense. I have to focus on this because my purpose is different from hers. But if you don't recognize that purpose in yourself, let me do the same foolish shit, the stuff that sis is doing over here, because I don't have a separate purpose from her. I don't have a separate mission or calling on my life. We're gonna go be baddies together because that's what I see as being successful. So I think society's not purpose driven anymore. And it's easier to fall into monkey see, monkey do.
Clone Tyrone, right? Tyrone didn't even know he was cloned over and over.
Absolutely. I had a teacher tell me in high school, she saw me out here wilding and just heading in completely the wrong direction. And she literally jacked me up by my collar in her classroom one day. And she said, "You're not one of them. You can't do what they do." No, I kind of got offended because what you mean I'm not one of them? Yes, I am. And I'm just like them. She was like, "No, you come from a good family. You're very intelligent. You have all these leadership qualities and you're misusing them. You're not one of them. They don't have the same purpose you do, so you can't do the same things that they're doing." And as a child, I was just offended because I took that on a surface level of, oh, she think because my family like the Huxtables that I just gotta act a certain way. She want me to be bougie and be a goody two shoes. But she saw a greater purpose in me, and she was absolutely right. I can't do the same things that they were doing because I don't have the same purpose that they do. And so I think we need a couple more teachers to jack some of these kids up and say, hey, you're not one of those. But even the teachers lack purpose, so we don't have that in place anymore.
My teachers was gangsters. Okay, my teacher. I remember him in particular to this day, Mr. Glover. He said, if you don't like it, you can go get your daddy and his three brothers. I'm like, why he keep saying that? Then I'm like, oh, he ready to fight my daddy and his three brothers about what he got going on. Like, that's how hard in the paint he was going for our education. He's like, they think y'all crazy. They think y'all slow. I'm not having that. I'm not accepting mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? So you got a black man, he like 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds, and he ain't taking no nonsense. You understand what I'm saying? He had one of them raspy Fred Sanford voices too. But he would throw a book from Wakanda or Wakompton, wherever, Zamunda, wherever he had it at you, and you was on some BS, he was jacking you up for real. You see what I'm saying? And he was insulated because they was the mob. I'm telling you, like the teachers that we had, the all that environment kind of thing, like they really went hard for you. You know what I'm saying? But they were hard on you. They ain't take no BS from you neither. And they lived in your neighborhood. So it wasn't like, oh, my mama coming to the school. Yeah, mama, come on to the school. Daddy, yeah, come on to the school. Yeah, come on. The squad is here. You understand? They lived in the neighborhood. They lived down the street and they taught all your siblings. So yeah. All right. You ain't know that. But you figured it out. And they chose you for their class because they taught all your siblings. You just think it's happenstance by some schedule. Nah, there was a lot of those things that went on. And from that environment where they cared versus you go in an environment where they could care less, there was a complete shift in thought in regards to what it was. So it went from I'm dragging you forward to no child left behind type of situation. And the socialization space in regards to that interface with education, you're seeing the decline. You know what I'm saying? Like now they in a space most of the time where they can't care, even if they do care. The caring ones they're becoming the troublemakers, and the conformists are in charge of those other situations. So that turns into something different in that regard. So they in crash out environments 24/7. You see what I'm saying? They on these devices that are allowing them to be divisive and encouraging divisiveness and not collectivism unless it's degenerate. And they see the result. So a lot of these polarities are pretty bugged out. So that's why I got you here, because you understand it. You know what I mean? And the people the people need and understanding in regards to what it is, like what's happening in the mind. You see the actions, but they're they're not asking anymore, like, why did you do that? And want to listen to the actual response. Like, okay, if I said to my son, like, why did you do that? They already know. I don't want to hear, I don't know. So we're going to have to discuss this some sort of way, some kind of way, and, get to the root of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, we're going to go through that. But a lot of us change ages, and we got trauma responses in regards to how conflict was dealt with, how it was resolved or not, and we just pass it down generationally. So we in like the fourth or fifth generation, and no one is asking questions because you come from an environment where they tell you don't ask me no damn questions. You see what I'm saying? And they ready to drag you for asking the question, and you really don't know. So you confused, and then you pass that on to the next generation, and they pass it on to the next generation. So we got 7 to 10 generations in this defunct based off of nobody being able to ask questions.
Right.
just do what I say. When they're watching what you do, you know what I'm saying? They're watching what you do. So yeah, just very interesting. Uh, and in that regard, so the mind of repair, uh, repair of the value system.
Mm.
Is it a space of repair? Is all hope lost? Is it all over? And you know, so we just take our ball and go home. Like in regards to
Well,
restoring that and repairing that.
I think you have to look at what it would actually mean to restore it. You can restore something that's a little bit damaged. You can restore something that's got a crack in it. You can restore something that is a little, tarnished. You can't restore something that's been destroyed. You have to rebuild it. And we're past a space of restoration. We're in a space where something has to be rebuilt because the values and the morals that we once had and that were once instilled in us have been completely destroyed. And so now we have a blank slate. We've got to just build it from scratch again because this generation is not going to respond to our good old days rhetoric. They're not going to want to hear about how, it was safe for us to play outside in the 80s and 90s and because their whole life it has not been. They don't know that. And so we're having to start from scratch and rebuild this value system. And we've been so caught up in trying to restore something that's not there anymore. Like I said, you can't restore something that doesn't exist anymore. It's just a memory. So now I try with my own children, with the own young people that I mentor, to build something. Instead of telling you, this is right, this is wrong, do this, don't do that. Let's talk about why this is right. Let's talk about why this is wrong, why you should do this, or why it's probably not a good idea to do that. Help them build their own moral compass, their own value system, because then they're going to teach that to their children. But trying to go back and point backwards to our values that used to exist, that they've had no experience with in their lifetime, is not going to work.
Value system that we had, the latchkey generation. We was nuts. Okay, playing tackle football in the street. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
But we did things like that were high risk, but we also had enough sense that when a car was coming, everybody knew to get out of the road. This
And we was mad at the
generation,
car. Yeah,
exactly,
we was
because you
mad.
interrupted our game. But this generation, because they don't have that value system, they not getting out the road. Because how dare you interrupt our game? Go the other way. So they don't even have sense enough to get out the road when the car is coming. So that's why we have to start from scratch and we have to rebuild this system because the one that we had is just not here anymore.
I saw some of them videos where they sort of making light of one generation to the next,
Hmm.
and the lady said she told her daughter, "Put you put me 3 eggs on the stove." And the girl went and got the pot and put the eggs in there and was boiling the eggs, right?
Hmm.
And the next generation, she said, "Put me 3 eggs on the stove," and she put 3 eggs on the stove, not
Hmm.
the pot, not the you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, what you're saying in regards to that from one generation to the next. So their generation was like, she put the eggs on the stove, and the other generation's like, oh, see, yeah,
But that's also a mental thing and that's also conditioning because our generation and before us had to work a lot with context clues. We had to
yeah,
infer things that couldn't necessarily or didn't have to be said out loud. So we had to learn how to pick up on cues around
right.
us and piece together information that wasn't spoken to us. This younger generation, you have to literally give them instructions. They haven't had to infer anything. You have to
Right.
tell them exactly what you want them to do, or it's not going to get done. And so they don't have that survival skill that we had. They don't have that ability to read between the lines and pick up on information that you weren't given.
Yeah, I was bugged out just looking at the disconnect. And the lady, made herself look upset on the video, but I'm like, you didn't give her the instructions. You understand? Like she did exactly what you said to do. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't come from where you come from, like you said. She ain't come up like we already understood certain things. And if not, then when the correction came, you knew for future reference what that was. So yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So what are one or two things in this value system that you find are essential? If you had to list one or two things in regards to establishing a value system in this generation going forward, what are some of the things that you see from your work?
Well, the major thing would be just the value itself. This
Mm.
younger generation doesn't see value in a lot of people or things. They're very self centered and self absorbed. And so, because I don't see value in you, I don't have compassion towards you if I do something to hurt you or cross you. I don't care how you feel because you're not valuable to me. I don't see the value in you. And so, if we restore seeing value in each other, seeing value in situations, or seeing value in even possessions, that will change how we respond to things as well. For me, I can remember getting a Game Boy when I was younger. You would have thought this thing was made out of solid gold, the way that I treated this Game Boy. No, you can't play it. I'm not tossing it here on the couch or on the bed. I'm sitting it down gently because I can't break this Game Boy. This is a big deal. My kids have $1,000 laptops and video games that they just toss everywhere. $1,500 iPhone with a cracked screen because she just tosses it, and they don't see value in those things. And so they don't treat these things like they're valuable. And that's where your values and your moral compass comes from, is these things mean something to you. And so you act a certain way because this thing, this person, this situation, this possession means something to you. Nothing means anything to these kids anymore. They don't care about anything because they have this microwave mindset of, I could just get another one. Like, if I break this phone, mama gonna buy another one. Like, even if somebody passes away, a lot of times they are so desensitized to that and don't see the value in life, to where these kids don't even get upset anymore. It was unheard of for us to have to bury one of our peers, one of our classmates when we were in school. These kids have done it so much that it's like, well, we got another funeral. Who making the t-shirts? What color we wearing? Like, it's not something that's jarring to them because they're so familiar with it. So restoring the value in people and things will be one of the main things as far as rebuilding that value system now.
I hope y'all have deduced why I beg her to come here every month. Okay, I want y'all to have an understanding on the reason why I place so much value with her coming here every month, even though I beg her. You understand what I'm saying? I gotta go through what I gotta go through, so y'all can get this value. Okay, because you're not gonna get this valuable information in your interactions on a daily basis. So come on over here every month. You know what I'm saying? Every month, and give you a little something, something. All right, give you a little something, something. Now we here on a prolific figures transition day by the name DMX. Okay, so from what I heard through the grapevine is, you had some interactions with him, and you don't necessarily have to talk about them, but from what you knew from X, what were some of the things that we missed because we only seen this much of him? So interacting with him, what are some of the things that we missed about him that we would have loved to know, or something like that.
How compassionate he was. This was a man who felt things very deeply. Um, this was a man that I have literally seen him stop a whole convoy of vehicles to let animals cross the street down in South Carolina. Like, you better not pull around me, let these ducks cross the street, and I mean it, or we got problems type thing. This is a man who just cared. And I think that his rough persona caused people to overlook and miss that. Some people are rough and tough because it's a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect themselves. And if you can get past that, you'll see that they are so rough around the edges because they do feel things so deeply. And I think that a lot of people miss that about him, is that he felt things. He felt everything so hard, and he loved so hard. And if I love you so hard and so much and you do me wrong, that hurts me more. So now I'm going to lash out at you. Now I got to go off because you were not the person that was supposed to hurt me. You were not the person that was supposed to cross me. Because I loved you, you were supposed to love me back. People miss that about him. People miss the fact that he had feelings. He was not just this rough, tough thug that they saw on the outside. He was somebody who was very empathic, somebody who felt things very, very deeply.
Definitely a bar. Okay, definitely a bar. Yeah. So this last part here, we just deal with some things we've seen in the current event space that was interesting, or something that caused you to have some sort of response or analysis. Anything that's been happening here in the last couple of weeks or so. That's I might want to say something about that.
Between Trump and his shenanigans and these folks cloning wolves, it's just been
Uh,
a very interesting couple of weeks. Um, you know, as far as politics and current events goes, everything black and brown has been attacked. Everything black and brown, they've tried to remove it. And I think that it's going to be really important for us moving forward to understand the real reasoning behind that. There are certain people that are counting on us to be enraged. There are certain entities that need us or would desire for us to turn up and act a fool. They want us to go off, they want us to crash out so that they can sit back and say, see, this is why we got to treat them like that. This is how they act. This is why we need these extra laws in place. This is why we need martial law. And this is why we're getting rid of DEI. Because look at how these savages behave. So they're doing things to try to get an emotional response from us. And I've been so proud of us as Black people because we have not been giving it to them. We have not cared. We out here learning line dances and clacking fans. We don't care nothing about nothing that's going on right now. And I'm proud of that, because if this had been 20 years ago, it would have been some public enemy fight the power down with the system type thing. And they would have had a prime example for why they're being so hard on us. We have been so nonchalant, and so that ain't my business. And I love that for us. But they are attacking everything black and brown, trying to remove it. There is absolutely no benefit to what Trump did the other day with removing Harriet Tubman from the Underground Railroad website. How do you remove Harriet Tubman from the Underground Railroad website? I mean, took his pictures down, quotes, everything. She is completely scrubbed from this portion of the website. He's doing things to try to get us to act out. And we are, like I said, we got our boots on the ground and we clacking fans and we don't care. So between that and those types of movements being made, all those protests that they had on the 5th, Black folks were at home, we didn't care, not our business. And I hope that we stay that way. I hope that no matter how much they poke and prod, that we don't give them the crash out that they're looking for, the excuse that they need to crack down on us. And then with, like I said, the cloning of the wolves, how does that benefit society in any way? For you to go and get a wolf that's been extinct for thousands of years and clone it and make some new pups. Evolution happens for a reason. Extinction happens for a reason. I just feel like I don't know what kind of Jurassic Park stuff y'all got going on, but I don't want no parts of it. Do you mean to tell me you can't cure cancer? You can't cure sickle cell, but you could take a wolf that's been extinct for 13,000 years and make another one? I'm not buying it. Like, and we have billions of dollars to pour into this project, but people can't afford food and rent and medicine right now. It's crazy. It's like they're in our face saying these frivolous things are more important than you. These things have more value than you do. And that trickles down and we don't see the value in ourselves. And that's when we end up with this crash out society that we were talking about.
Crash out society. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess a side note, 'cause I did the side note with DMX, the side note on the Just Hilarious Breakfast Club situation. And I don't know if I asked you about the Remy Clarissa situation. Uh, thoughts? Any thoughts? No thoughts?
As far as the Breakfast Club situation, this is one of those platforms that thrives off of chaos. This is one of those platforms that thrives off of your emotional response to something. And I think that something that I don't like about a lot of Black men that get these higher up media platforms is they then get this mission that they've given themselves because nobody tasked them with this. But they get this idea that they have to humble women and put us in our place. I think that when Just Hilarious came on to the team at Breakfast Club, she was the new face. She was the less experienced personality. You know, she was just a comedian from the internet. And they didn't realize until these interviews came into play that, oh, she's kind of intelligent too. Oh, she actually can hold her own with these vets and these conversations. Oh, she actually can influence and get a response and invoke these emotions from people. Now she might be a problem because she's not just a funny one cracking jokes on the side anymore. She's a main character in the show now. So let us humble her. Let us make her feel like her position is threatened so that she knows who's really in charge. Let's bring this other girl in and let that natural selection of that female competition start to happen. And that's exactly what they did. And thankfully, Jess is a smart enough woman that she recognized it and was like, nah, bro, I ain't falling for it. And they were able to talk to each other and, you know, both still be a part of the platform. But I think what the intention behind that was is you getting too big for your britches, sis. Let us threaten your job a little bit and make you uncomfortable so that you'll slide back into your place and be a good little girl. And she just didn't fall for it. So hats off to Jess for that. And I hope that, you know, that's their last attempt at that now that they know that she's not going for it. As far as what was the other situation you asked about with
Remy and Clarissa.
Remy? As much as I love Remy Ma, please leave that lady alone. Please leave that lady alone. You're not on the yard anymore. This is not your homegirl from the block that you bumping heads with. This is a woman that can punch you to sleep. You need to leave sis alone. I think that sometimes, as they say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. but they also say ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. It was okay for you to do the things that you were doing. It was okay for you to move in the way that you were moving publicly with another man, and for Papoose to endure the ridicule that he did from that. But the minute that he calmly and peacefully, with no shade attached, steps out with another woman, oh, now you ready to crash out. Please don't get beat up trying to put on for the internet, because you're going to get beat up. Like, please leave that lady alone. Anytime that I see these interviews and they either ask Clarissa about Remy, or these clickbait sites where they boost it up and try to make them fall out, I'm always thinking to myself, Remy, please don't fall for it. Don't fall. Like, you've been doing good. Don't fall for it, because they want her to crash out. They're depending on her to crash out, because the old Remy would have. But if you crash out this time, it's not gonna go well for you, because that girl gonna beat your ass. Just leave that lady alone. Keep it real cute. Reminisce. Don't have that kind of drama on your plate.
Is there an agenda and an attempt to paint black women with another broad stroke from these things, you think?
Absolutely.
And
They want to paint this picture of us being angry and not having conflict resolution skills, and they want people to believe that that's just the baseline for black women, that we automatically pop off when we get angry. And I think that especially when we have people like Kamala in the forefront, who leads with a mindset of, I can pop off when I need to, but I can also handle you civilly, and I prefer to do it that way. We saw a lot of black women starting to follow suit, and the powers that be kind of set back, like, oh nah, they ain't ratchet enough for us no more. Like, these women are seeing too much value in themselves. They're behaving too Claire Huxtable, and and they're a little too classy right now. We need them to ratchet it up, VH1 it up a little bit. And that's what they're dependent on. And they are, if you look at even the media right now, it's very hard for you to find a storyline, a TV show, a movie that showcases a classy black woman that handles things civilly. Everything is a bitter black woman, an angry black woman, a ratchet, drunk, hoish black woman. They want to emphasize these different archetypes, these low vibrational archetypes, to make us fall into that crowd mentality and do what the others are doing, monkey see, monkey do. So that's what they're depending on. And I hope that the ones that are in a position to have that kind of influence catch on to that sooner than later, so that they're not part of the problem, and they can make themselves part of the solution by still keeping their cool, still behaving in a classy manner. You ain't gotta be a baddie. It's perfectly fine for you to be Reverend Doctor. You don't have to go out here and do the things that you see these other women do, because that's what's been expected of you. But I'm a person that likes to do what you don't expect me to do. I'm a person that likes to do what you tell me I can't do, especially if it's something positive. If you tell me that I can't go get multiple degrees, or I can't start multiple businesses, I can't start a school, that's exactly what I'm getting ready to go do, because you don't tell me. But instead, we take that mentality, that same mentality that I have, and we turn it on its side. And you can't tell me that I have to get a degree. You can't tell me I have to be a successful businesswoman, because I can make just as much money going out here being ratchet. So it's we're too influenced, too heavily influenced, and not self-guided enough, not self-led enough. And it comes, I think, from not having enough examples. I had aunties that were entrepreneurs. I had women in the community that were business women, that were educated, that were um, pledged sororities and help with charity events. I had that example. And so I had something that I wanted to emulate. This younger generation doesn't have that example. So what they want to emulate is what they see. And they want it to be baddie baddie shot o'clock all the time, instead of something positive.
he batty shot a clock, okay? Oh man. So tell us about new eating and House of Blanco. You know we gotta always do that. You understand what I'm saying? How has things been going?
They
And
are wonderful,
how my
wonderful.
fam doing over there? Shout out to my fam. I'm coming to graduation. You
They
understand?
they are doing well. We'll have our first graduating class in the interfaith ministry program this summer. So they're all doing well. Um, they are excited about learning, and that makes me feel good. We just had a class in Tutnese or the Tut language 2 weeks ago, and it went very well. Packed out class, everybody was able to learn and retain the information. And now I go on social media and see them speaking in Tut to each other in the comments, and I'm like, okay, pat on the back to me. I've been trying to focus more on a for us by us type of mentality because I feel like things like the Tut language, a black created and necessary language, things like that are getting lost and they're no longer being taught. And if we don't start teaching it again, it'll be lost forever. So I've been focusing more on things like that, more on herbalism, more on naturopathic remedies, because I see the problems with medical treatments, with being able to afford medicine, with people not having insurance. I see the problem, and I feel like the solution is take care of your damn self. So learn these natural remedies, learn these herbs, learn these naturopathic ways to heal yourself instead of depending on them. If you give them the power to be the only ones to heal you, you give them the power to be the ones to kill you too when they withhold that healing. So I've been focusing more on promoting programs and courses along those lines. I still do the spiritual classes and still have the life coaching program, training people to counsel and life coach. But my focus for 2025 has been more holistic and naturopathic care.
Like this lady I knew once upon a time.
Yeah, this a wonderful lady
Oh,
that
yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting once in my life that changed the
Me
whole
too. I met her once.
trajectory of my life. Yeah, you might
Yeah,
have met her once or twice,
I met her once or twice in my life. Okay.
But no, definitely I think that that's really interesting how the universe works for you and I to cross paths, because I can stand 10 toes and say that if I had not had that encounter with your mom and if my grandmother had not met your mom when I was a young girl, I don't think I would still be here. I think the things that she told us that day and the tips that she gave my grandmother for things that needed to change in my diet, things that need to change with my health, I think it literally is the reason that I'm still here. If I was still eating the things that I wasn't supposed to eat, if I was still depending on just doctors to take care of me and the chronic illnesses that I had at that time and had not crossed paths with your mom, I wouldn't be here. So I'm forever grateful for that, for sure.
I'm always the truth. Okay. I wouldn't been here neither. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been here neither because she didn't listen to the doctors with me. Like her mother didn't listen to the doctors with her. Like she didn't listen to the doctors with her own self. You know, they told her she would never have any children. There's seven of us. So somebody lying. You understand?
Mhm.
And my birth story, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, mind your business. All right, you understand? Uh, the birth story and my first couple years of life is proof of who she was to me, but who she had already been to the world.
Mhm.
So these
I
stories
think
are
the
important.
main thing that I remember, because I was very young when we had that
Mhm.
encounter, um, at that speaking engagement with your mom, but one of the things that really stands out to me and that I think I've adapted for myself is she was so confident in the things that she was saying to my grandmother, like she knew that she knew that she knew, that she said it so matter of factly that it was like, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Either you're gonna do it or you're not. Like she was very, very direct. It wasn't in a place of being brash or being too blunt. But one of the things that she said to my grandmother, she was like, tell me what she eats. Tell me in a day what she eats. My grandma was like, well, she likes to eat a lot of cereal. She drinks a lot of milk all the time. And your mom stopped her and was like, are we talking about cow milk? My grandma said, yeah. She's like, stop it. Don't give her that anymore. My grandma was like,
Off
well,
the
she can't,
rip.
ain't milk supposed to be healthy? She said, yeah, but she's not a baby cow. Why are you giving her cow milk? And she just the way that she said it so matter of factly, I was like, I like this lady. Like she
Mm.
ain't playing no game.
Yeah, yeah. Sound just like my mama. I almost heard her voice just now. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Tighten up.
It definitely made an impact on me for sure.
That's love. That's living proof. You never really know. I met a bunch of people over the years, but you never know how close you are. This world is small, so
Mhm.
there's a bunch of opportunities that are there now. So continuing on traditions, from your your own genealogy into the future. So shout out to my classmates over there. I'm telling you, I'm coming to graduation. Right, coming to graduation. Right, so I'll be up in there. And House of Blanco, you got anything going on you want to tell us about? You want to promote?
With House of Blanco, we still offer all of our spiritual services, all of the readings, the mediumship and ancestor readings. We do have some classes coming up to teach about ancestor veneration and just connecting better with your ancestors, setting up altars. We have some classes in meditation and Reiki coming up in the late spring as well. So we're still doing what we do over here. Just keep an eye on the platforms. It'll let you know when the class dates are and show you how to register um, with Blanco Bruja on Instagram and also houseofblanco.com. So just stay tuned. We got a lot going on, doing a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, and a lot of healing over here.
I'm excited. Okay, so we're gonna be up in them classes up in here. So shout out to my teammates. You understand what I'm saying? In the words of Marshawn Lynch, what's up, African? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my teammates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know you got to find a word for us before you go, and one more time for where people can find you.
Final word being, like I've just been preaching this whole session, see the value in yourself and each other so that you don't crash out. Seeing the value and acknowledging the value avoids the crashing out. So that's my final word to everybody. And then of course where you can find me on Instagram, Blanco Bruja, houseofblanco.com as well. Um on TikTok, Blanco Bruja. The young folks got me on the TikTok. That's about it though. I have some other platforms, but they're more so personal platforms that are not really for my business. That's my personal shenanigans, but definitely houseofblanco.com is the best way to reach me.
Shenanigans be necessary, okay? They're not unwarranted. All right. So shout out to Shanann and again. All right. So and I heard there's a podcast coming out, one of these
We
days.
working on it, man. We're
I
working on
heard
it.
it.
I'm
I heard through the grapevine.
getting my topics together, I want to make sure that it is not your typical podcast. I get very frustrated when I see, especially Black females,
Mm.
fall into this space of talking about frivolousness and stuff that's not going to help us advance forward. I don't feel like every podcast episode should be about relationships and sex and beauty tips. I think that that does us a disservice because we have much more that we're concerned about than that. And so I want to make sure that I put it out there in the right way and that it's some useful and beneficial information and we're not just twirling our hair and giggling about boys because child I can't stand it. So I want to make sure we present it in the right way, but it's definitely in the works. It's one guy ain't gonna let me live it down if I don't get it out. So
No ma'am. No ma'am, no ham. That's what he said. No ma'am, no ham. It's needed, it's vital. And once you pick your core audience or your target audience or the persona that sits on your shoulder when you write, when you come up with these topics, when you're putting out your lesson plans, you create with divine intention. You're creating for someone in mind. So much so you can almost see their face. You know, when I started this, I didn't know that that's what I was doing. But the thing that kept me in line is when I started it, I saw my mother's face. So I knew what I was not going to be doing on the internet. You
right.
understand what I'm saying? I knew what I wasn't going to do. I was not going to dishonor her or my father or my grandfather, my grandmother, any of those patriarchs or matriarchs in my ancestral lineage, and then my family, and then my siblings. Any of that. If anybody from any point in my life clicked on it and saw me, there was no dishonor. So that's the thing that disciplined me and kept me away from a bunch of the stuff because there was some of the ratiology. I wanted to hop in a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? But I was like, you hop in the ratiology, that's it. You're done. Your credibility is done. So why would you risk the credibility for a thing that you built for a decade now? Uh, or something frivolous. You see what I'm saying? Something frivolous for an emotional moment. It been days I wanted to go on social media and be fussing and cussing and venting my frustration, but then I'm like, all right, that's the end of it. That's the end of everything that you built. And it wasn't a built and a grandiose for my own self. This is literally a place where knowledge is born. So, you know, my children watch. You understand what I'm saying? My nieces and nephews, they watch. My family, they watch this platform. My aunt, my uncle, they watch it. So when they come to see their family member, they know who I am and they know who I'm not. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no pretend. There's no all right action. Let's be performative. If anything, I'm a lot uh, more cognizant in this environment than I am in most of the other environments. You understand what I'm saying? But what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like that song back in the day. So yeah, I'm excited for it whenever it comes because I know it's going to be something of worth and value and created with someone in mind who's in need of it. So we excited. Okay. So Reverend Doctor, Mother God, Mother Blanco, thank you for coming through and sharing some of your time, some of your jewels, some of your lessons learned, and giving us a deeper look into the mentality of digital degeneracy and the need to establish value in a value-less sort of society. Nothing but love, nothing but respect, nothing but honor due here always. That's don't
Thank you
even
for
play with it.
having me.
Don't even play with it.
I'll be back when he
Don't even
begs
play with
again.
it. Okay. So next month, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Next month, will be hopefully, what I'm saying, if I do my begging right, what I'm saying,
This
Reverend
guy.
Doctor will be back with us next month to share some more of her wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So with that, we say peace and love. Go mind your business. You understand what I'm saying? Go mind your business. Your business, not nobody else's business. All right. So
Peace, y'all.
peace.
With a body like a gazelle, reach high for the sky. Mama taught her well. Praise the gods, any shape, any form. Conjure up a storm cloud. It rains, it pours, let it fall down. Spirit dance, Cherokee, Blackfoot. Put a pound to the ground. 2 step is all it took. Hey, I used to run from the sound of the drums. Cause spirit would hear it, and spirit would come. African dance. Rhythm of the king can be the sounds of life. But we should dance, got me moving in the trance. Circle motion got me going and going. African dance, African dance, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey. I used to run from the sound of the drums. The spirit would hear it, the spirit would come. I never felt this feeling before, but my body moving around like it already know. I just release, let go. All them burdens I've been bearing, I ain't carrying no more. I reach high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul get high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul. African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance. Just move, make your body 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 just move. So some y'all can do maybe joy, my Johnny doing wild with the drums play, crossing over in the corners of the moonlight. Feel the rhythm of the kinky, the sounds of life. But we should dance, got me moving in the trance. Circle motion got me going and going. African dance, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance, hey, African dance, African dance, African dance. Just move, make your body just move, make your body just move, your body just move.
S Flex, baby.
Vocally scope meticulous diagrams from the true and living son of man. Khalid Gassil would tell me make him dance. Don't hesitate, beloved, take me by the hands. In this world of distractions, let's enhance our circumstance. A simple two-step can lead us to the brink of romance. Achilles composes rhythm that puts us in a trance. Listen to your intuition, take a chance. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together, let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together, let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. Electric incompatibility, connected to each other mentally. infinity. It's like the universe sent you for me, and I cherish the union of our sacred energy. That's mirage, your geometry makes my nature rise. Contemplating, bending knee, proposing sacred ties. Heaven is physical, beginning with your state of mind. You are everything, no reason for me to look outside. Your frequency heightens the primal warrior within me, exciting my libido like Makarut and Yohimbi. You're a gift from the universe, and the stars it was written. Let me unlock your most erotic fantasies hidden. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. Now we're building consistently, with goals of preserving our legacy. You reside in me for eternity. I love the way you nurture me internally. You're the essence of my serenity, seductively perfect in femininity. It's like the universe sent you for me, and I cherish the union of our sacred energy. We've established ties that I'll sincerely never jeopardize. You're an immaculate conception in my eyes. There'll be ups and downs, hills and mountains for us to climb, navigating any terrain by each other's side. Trust your companionship is what I place first. Just to let you know exactly what it's worth, I would walk to the other side of the earth for the purest water for you to quench your thirst. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. If you like the way it feels, talk to me. Here's a map of the universe, walk with me. Together let's create a bond for infinity. The highest form of understanding, love, victory. Electric incompatibility, connected to each other mentally, not to mention compelling physically. I love the way you move rhythmically. We conduct the most beautiful symphony. It's passion personified with intensity. It's like the universe sent you for me, and I cherish the union of our sacred energy. Now we're building consistently, with goals of preserving our legacy. You reside in me for eternity. I love the way you nurture me internally. You're the essence of my serenity, seductively perfect in femininity. It's like the universe sent you for me, the highest form of understanding, love, victory.
Go without this book, and let me explain why. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, takes you through countless and countless different blacks. From our scholars, our warriors, our great sisters, and even entrepreneurs. It speaks to the past, the present, and the future. There's even an action plan for us that are serious about businesses that we wanted to take on. Entrepreneurship is one of the first things that he speaks about. And if you're an avid reader, this is a 5-part series. So this is not only a great resource for ourselves, it's a great resource for us as parents. We can teach it and incorporate it into our lesson plans for our children.
Knowledge born. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the gritty.
Motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.